Chapter 4 Secrets Revealed. The cabin loomed in the darkness like a silent sentinel, its weathered timbers creaking in the cold wind that swept through the forest. The night had been a harrowing ordeal, filled with shadowy figures and cryptic warnings that left the group reeling from the revelations of the seance. They had spent hours huddled together, trying to process the terrifying events and the ghostly presence that had taken hold of Rachel. Emily, determined to uncover the truth behind the cabin's dark past, had insisted on exploring the journal they had discovered earlier. The journal's cryptic entries had hinted at madness and a malevolent presence, but its true significance had remained shrouded in mystery. With Rachel still recovering from the possession and David and Ethan too shaken to think clearly, Emily took it upon herself to delve deeper. The journal lay open on the dining table, its pages yellowed and fragile. Emily's fingers trembled as she flipped through the entries, her eyes scanning the hurried scrawl of the journal's author. The room was eerily silent, save for the occasional crackle of the fireplace and the distant howling of the wind. The air was heavy with anticipation and fear. The journal began with mundane entries about the family's daily life in the cabin. The entries were filled with details about their routines, their joys, and their struggles. But as Emily read on, the tone of the journal began to shift. The writing grew erratic, the words often smeared or crossed out in frantic strokes. The author's growing paranoia was evident in every line. "Something is wrong with the cabin," one entry read. "I hear whispers in the walls, voices that don't belong. They say the land is cursed, that a great evil lies in wait. I must protect my family, but I fear I am losing my grip on reality." Emily's heart raced as she continued reading. The author's descent into madness was palpable. The entries spoke of strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, shadows that seemed to come alive, and an overwhelming sense of dread that pervaded every corner of the cabin. It was clear that the author had been tormented by something far beyond their understanding. But the most chilling entry came towards the end of the journal. The handwriting was almost illegible, the ink smeared as if the author had been writing in a frenzy. "The spirit is not content," the entry read. "It wants more than just our fear. It wants one of us to possess and destroy. The evil is in the blood, and I fear it will claim us all. Emily." Emily's eyes widened in shock. Her name was written in the final, desperate scrawl. She read the entry again, her mind struggling to comprehend its implications. Why had the author mentioned her by name? She glanced up at Rachel, who was sitting quietly in the corner, her eyes still hollow from the possession. Rachel seemed to sense Emily's gaze and looked up, her face a mixture of confusion and fear. "What did you find?" she asked weakly. Emily hesitated, trying to find the right words. "The journal. It mentions a spirit that wants to possess someone, and it even mentions my name." David and Ethan, who had been huddled together in silence, now turned their attention to Emily. "What does that mean?" David asked, his voice tense. Emily took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. "I don't know yet, but it seems like the spirit has been waiting for me. It's possible that I have a connection to the original family." Ethan's brow furrowed in confusion. "How could that be?" Emily flipped through the remaining pages of the journal, searching for any clues that might explain her connection. The final entries were disjointed. The author's writing becoming increasingly erratic and incoherent. "The journal doesn't explain why," Emily said, her voice trembling. "But it's clear that the spirit is tied to the family's bloodline. It's been waiting for someone with a personal connection to repeat the tragedy." The revelation hit the group like a cold wave. The cabin's dark history was not just a series of unfortunate events. It was a meticulously orchestrated cycle of torment that had now ensnared them. The spirit, having driven the original family to madness, sought to continue its malevolent legacy by possessing one of the current occupants. Rachel's eyes widened in horror. So, it's not just a random haunting. It's targeting you, Emily. The spirit wants to make you its next victim. Emily nodded, her heart pounding. I need to understand why. If I'm connected to the original family, then I might be able to find a way to break the cycle. David stood up, his face resolute. We have to figure this out. We can't let this thing take control. The group's resolve hardened as they faced the reality of their situation. The cabin, once a picturesque retreat, had become a nightmarish prison, its walls echoing with the suffering of those who had come before. The spirit's malevolence had seeped into every corner, its hunger for destruction growing stronger with each passing moment. Emily decided to investigate further, hoping to uncover any additional clues about her connection to the family. She searched the cabin for any remnants of the past, photographs, letters, or artifacts that might shed light on her lineage. Her search led her to a hidden compartment in the wall of the bedroom, where she found a dusty old photo album. With trembling hands, Emily opened the album. The pages were filled with faded photographs of the original family, the parents, 2 young children, and a young woman who resembled Emily with an uncanny similarity. The woman's face was familiar, her features mirroring Emily's own. It was clear that they were related. A chill ran down Emily's spine as she realized the connection. The woman in the photograph was her great aunt, someone she had only heard about in family stories but had never met. The cabin had been passed down through generations, and Emily had inherited a long-buried legacy of darkness. Emily returned to the group, her face pale and determined. The woman in the photograph is my great aunt. The cabin has been in my family for generations. The spirit has been waiting for me, hoping to continue the cycle of madness. The group was stunned into silence. The revelation was both a horrifying confirmation and a glimmer of hope. If Emily could uncover the full extent of her family's connection to the cabin, she might find a way to break the spirit's hold and end the cycle of torment. As the night grew darker, the cabin's oppressive atmosphere seemed to close in on them. The shadows on the walls danced with an unsettling rhythm, and the whispering wind carried an ominous chill. The spirit's presence was palpable, its malevolent energy a constant reminder of the danger they faced. Emily knew that the key to their survival lay in confronting the spirit and unraveling the truth about her family's dark legacy. The cabin had become a battleground, and the group's struggle against the encroaching darkness was only just beginning.